Right. Good afternoon. Welcome to our midday briefing live on EBS. Today is Tuesday, the 2nd of May. Je voudrais commencer avec une mise à jour de l'agenda de la présidente. Comme vous le savez, la présidente sera à Prague ce soir, où elle rencontrera le président de la Tchéquie, Petr Pavel. Elle aura également une entrevue avec le Premier ministre, Petr Fiala. Ensuite, l'hebdo est encore en cours et je ne suis donc pas encore en mesure de vous confirmer les points à l'agenda de la réunion du collège de demain. Mais bien entendu, dès que la réunion sera terminée, nous vous informerons via les canaux habituels, non seulement des points à l'ordre du jour, mais aussi des événements de presse. Et maintenant, j'invite Stéphane à me rejoindre pour une annonce sur la politique de cohésion et son rôle de soutien à l'économie. Stéphane.
Merci Eric. Good afternoon everybody. The Commission is putting its money where its mouth is, as shown again by a very interesting new study that we are publishing today. The money I'm talking about is the 545 billion euros cohesion policy for the programming period 2021-2027. This very interesting report shows that our cohesion investments are expected to help create 1.3 million jobs in the European Union. And our funding will also increase the EU's GDP by 0.5% on average by the end of the decade. And in some member states, this GDP increase will even be up to 4%. But there is more. The report presents very concrete figures showing what cohesion policy will do concretely in our daily lives to support the EU's socio-economic convergence and its green, fair and digital transition. You'll find an overview of the expected results of cohesion funding, including in each member state, in this report. If you want to find out more about it, if you want to read this report, you'll find all of it on our press corner and in a press release, which is available online. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Lastly, let me welcome today's visitors, students from the Ukrainian Leadership Academy. So welcome, and as you say, I think in Ukrainian, laskavo prosimo. Voilà. So welcome again. This concludes our announcements for today, and we can go to your questions, if there are any. Yes.
Yeah, this is working. Good morning. With a question on the approval of the Dutch state aid scheme for NOS, the Netherlands. To start with, why did the European Commission approve the state aid scheme and conclude it's no state aid? And then maybe you could deliberate a little bit on what terms the Commission did approve the scheme. And I was also wondering whether somehow the Commission did speed up the process, as for the Dutch government it was very important to have this sorted out quickly. Thank you very much.
Ariana.
Thanks a lot. Good morning, everyone. Apologies. So indeed, today we have approved 2 Dutch schemes with a total budget of around 1.47 billion euros to reduce nitrogen deposition on nature conservation areas. These measures will contribute to the EU strategic objectives relating to the European Green Deal. It's 2 measures that the Dutch authorities had notified to us. Of course, we try to process the state notifications as quickly as we can. So as we try to do in each and every case, as soon as we were ready to adopt a decision, we have done so, of course. For what concerns the conditions, the LBV scheme, which has a budget of 500 million euros, the aid will take the form of a direct grant to compensate up to 100% of the losses incurred by farmers who decide to close their dairy, cattle, pig and poultry breeding sites, in particular in relation to the loss of production capacity and production rights. To be eligible under the scheme, depending on the area, the breeding sites concerned will have to have certain minimum levels of nitrogen deposition load per year. For what concerns the LBV Plus scheme, it will be opened to the so-called peak load emitting breeding sites, and there will be a minimum level of nitrogen emissions per year in order to be considered as eligible. It will also be open to farmers breeding dairy cattle, pigs and poultry, and in addition to farmers breeding veal calves. In addition to 100% compensation for the losses incurred, in particular in relation to production rights and demolition costs in this specific case, they will also be eligible for 120% compensation for loss of production capacity. We have approved the scheme because we have found it to be compatible with the guidelines for state aid in the agricultural and forestry sectors. I'm very happy to go through the different compatibility points if you so wish, but in general it is the compatibility with the guidelines that we look under.
I hope you were able to note all of that down, but if not, there's a recording which will be available after midday, and my thanks to the interpreters because that was rather quick. So, follow-up. Hold on, you need to press the button, wait until it's red. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there it is. One short follow-up, especially on the Plus scheme. It's a quite generous offer, 120%, and I could imagine that farmers across Europe think this is too generous. Why is that no problem for the European Commission?
Well, first of all, apologies if I was a bit fast. It's also all included in the press release that we have published this morning. And if you have further questions, you can always contact me and my team just in case. So for what concerns the 20% extra that you were mentioning, our guidelines foresee that if the closure derives from environmental reasons, member states can grant an additional 20%, which is called green bonus. And this brings the aid intensity up to 20%. And this is why we have found this measure to be compatible, because it's what the guidelines envisage. So 100% for the eligible costs, plus a 20% top-up for these green bonus because of the environmental reasons.
Okay, thank you very much. Ariana, any other questions for Ariana on competition? That is not the case. Thank you. Let me open the floor to other issues. Nawab.
Thank you, Eric. This is on foreign relations. And my question is that a Palestinian prisoner in an Israeli jail, name is Khader Adnan, died today after 86 days of hunger strike. So what is your reaction to this? Thank you.
Thank you, Nawab. Peter.
Hi, Nawab. Thank you for the question. Well, we take note of the death of Mr. Adnan in the Israeli prison, and he was protesting his indictment for incitement and affiliation with Palestinian Islamic Jihad, which is a terrorist organization. But he argued that this was based on an unfounded evidence. The European Union has been engaged on case of Mr. Adnan with Israeli authorities, including with the Ministry of Health of the State of Israel, inquiring about his condition. And we call for a transparent investigation into his death and the circumstances that led into his death. The European Union in general regrets all loss of life and reiterates the commitment of the European Union to international humanitarian law and to all countries' human rights obligations towards prisoners. We note also with great concern that the calls for retaliation by Palestinian armed groups, this is unacceptable, and we call on all sides to prevent any escalation in an already volatile situation that could bring even more suffering and even more death if it's continuing like we see. So we condemn the rockets fired at Israel already, and we call on all sides to exercise utmost restraint.
Thank you very much. Any other questions on foreign affairs for Peter? Mose.
Yes, thank you, Eric. This might be a related question. It concerns the meeting today, I think, between High Representative Borrell and the Israeli Foreign Minister. Maybe it's still ongoing, but I would like to know if you think there are going to be any kind of joint statement or press release after that meeting I think it was launched, let's say, to discuss, according to media at least, Iran and the so-called nuclear deal. But I suppose that High Representative Borrell will also discuss, let's say, the judicial reform in Israel and its implications when it comes to the occupation and the West Bank. I wonder if you can confirm that. Thank you.
Peter.
Thank you, Mose. The meeting between Israeli Foreign Minister, who is in Brussels, and High Representative Borrell, who invited him, is taking place this afternoon. So there is still some time until the meeting starts. And of course, after that, we will inform and we will share information about the main topics discussed. This is the first time High Representative is meeting the new Israeli Foreign Minister in person. They had few calls before, but this is the first opportunity to meet in person and discuss issues of the bilateral relationship between Israel and the European Union. Not so long ago, we managed finally to hold Association Council, so there is momentum in our relations. There are topics to be discussed, both on the internal developments in Israel and occupied Palestinian territory, but also in the region and in our bilateral relationship. So I will not go and preempt now the topics to be discussed, but it's important that the meeting is first in-person meeting of both. It's taking place in Brussels this afternoon at 4 o'clock.
Thank you. Any other questions on foreign affairs for Peter or for Nabila? No. Let me open the floor to other issues then. Thank you, Peter. Any other questions? Momchil. Momchil, we can see you, but we cannot hear you. If you try to sort out your audio, and we will come back to you, and if we cannot, then please ask your question bilaterally. Any other issues for us today? Yes, please.
Yeah, good afternoon. My question is about the visit of Commissioner Hahn to Hungary. I was wondering if there are any decisions being made, or can we expect something this week regarding the budget for Hungary?
So I'll call Balázs, since you are asking a question on the budget. Commissioner Hahn is in Hungary today. He has a series of meetings. So Balázs will explain to you a little bit the background for these meetings.
So Commissioner Hahn has been engaging in a broad range of outreach efforts in the context of the ongoing review of the multi-annual financial framework. You know that we have been facing some unexpected challenges which necessitate a potential review of the MFF framework. And in that context, Commissioner Hahn has been going to different EU capitals, and today it's Hungary's turn. So this is the fundamental context. Now we are looking at 4 meetings today for the Commissioner in Hungary. He will be meeting Prime Minister Orbán, but also 3 ministers. And of course, we know that in terms of Hungary, the context is a little bit broader. So obviously, if the Hungarian side intends to approach issues which might be of relevance for Hungary, the Commissioner is, of course, also to a large extent the right interlocutor in this regard. So this is what I could say more broadly on the topic.
Thank you very much. Any other questions on the budget for Balázs? No. Let's see if Momchil has managed to solve his microphone issues. Momchil, we give it another try. The picture was good, I have to say.
Me?
I can.
Do you hear me now?
I can
Do
hear
you hear me now?
and almost see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So yesterday there was a blast on the way of the motorcade of the prosecutor general of Bulgaria. Is the Commission aware of this accident, and what is its comment, if any?
Thank you very much. We are, of course, aware of this despicable act, and Anita will give you our reaction.
Thank you, Momchil. The Commission strongly condemns the attempted bomb attack on the General Prosecutor of Bulgaria. This is a senseless and coward act of violence that has no place in our society, and we expect the national authorities to bring the perpetrators of this heinous act to justice swiftly and decisively. Of course, at this stage, we will not be able or in any position to speculate on any motives behind the attack.
Thank you. Momchil, I see you still have your hand raised. Is this because you have a follow-up? No. Okay. Any other questions on home affairs for Anita? No. Any other issues for us today? No. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow for the college readout.